the Fxner fan podcast. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again. I was going to do it. I was going to do it. I didn't have to do it to him because too many people are calling it Fxner now,
including our own people that are working with us.
Yeah. So
yeah,
here we go. Fxner fan podcast, episode 22.
Yeah, big 22.
Or was it 20? Yeah, 22.
Because last time was
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22, baby.
All right, we're going for it. We're gonna have to figure out a new one now when we get to these numbers. Actually, line up with something. So 23, we'll have to do
Miley Cyrus.
I was already on it. I was already thinking of it. We'll have some jokes to go with them now. I think that'll work.
No way we both drank at the same time. That never usually happens.
We're in sync. All right. Well, again, welcome back to the Fxner Fan Podcast, episode 22. There's been some interesting stuff. Obviously,
all right, Connor Bedard. We need to get this out of the way first.
Yeah,
I know this isn't the sports page. Chicago fans rejoice. The Chicago Blackhawks have won the draft lottery and have the rights to pick young phenom Connor Bedard.
I'm honestly at this point, I'd say phenom is kind of an understatement.
He's been talked about for years, and he's 17.
I think it's crazy because, like,
oh my god,
phenom almost seems wrong. Like he's that good.
He transcends the word phenom as of
crazy
right now.
Yeah,
it's hard to put that much hype on a prospect, but man, I've never been the type to hype up a prospect like that. But like, it was already hard not to, and now he's gonna be a fucking hawk. All I want to do is
Canadian
talk about
born or
this
U.S.
kid.
born.
Yeah, he's from British Columbia.
Okay.
I think he's from Vancouver. I don't know if he's from city of Vancouver or Vancouver area.
Yeah.
I think he's like to Vancouver like we are to Chicago.
Okay, okay, yeah, fair enough.
The kid's a fucking talent.
He's
like
a dog.
Like
he's got that dog in him.
Oh my god. His shot, have you seen the kid's forearms?
Buddy, he looks like he's got the what was that episode of SpongeBob with the pink arms? Remember that?
Yeah. So apparently his shot comes from when he was like 14, he broke his wrist. So he's right-handed.
I had a joke for that.
Okay.
I was like, I think a lot of 14-years have broken their wrists a few times.
He broke his wrist in a non-hockey related incident.
That makes it even better.
But this is he got injured playing hockey. Yeah. He broke his right wrist, so his bottom hand.
Yeah.
And
the support hand.
He was shooting with one hand, his top hand on the stick for like 3 months.
Just practicing,
and I guess when he got his bottom hand back, he had so much flick with the top hand that now he got his power hand and his aim hand back.
Yeah.
So his shot just from there like skyrocketed.
Yeah, which it was all guy before.
He's got more skills than that, but ultimately that's like what put him so far ahead of the pack, because I think if he had a mediocre shot, like, comparable to the rest of his draft class,
yeah,
I think there's a shot at him being a little bit lower, maybe.
Yeah.
I think he would still be first, but I think it would be closer.
I think he'd be. Yeah,
but
he'd be
that's
more
like
on the
that's
fence.
his X factor.
Yeah,
like he's
shot.
Just
which in like a thing for like a lot of sports, baseball, basketball, football, even hockey in some senses. A lot of skills as you get older. Obviously like speed and your agility decrease, but like a shot is something you can always improve on, because you can always kind of get stronger as far as arm wise.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like about Bedard's game. I hear a lot of this skates like McDavid, shoots like Matthews. His skating isn't bad.
Yeah,
but it's not even his second best thing. I'd say it's his shot and then his hands for sure.
Yeah.
And I think maybe you could even say his playmaking is the third after that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see people really talk about it as much as they should.
He's agile enough to get around.
Yeah, to get where he has to be.
But he's not like, it's not like he's a speed demon. He's not like burning guys with the speed. He's in tight.
He's kind of
trying to make a move.
If we want to give a speed comparison, this might be a little bit off, but I think he's more or less of a guy who knows how to. He has the he's heavier on the IQ and like knowing the ice versus like being able to just physically prowess everyone, and just be able to pass everyone out. Kind of, obviously right now it would be more of an example, but Steve Stamkos is never the fastest dude, but that's kind of how he was.
He's had his speed plays, but he's a shooter and more recently a playmaker.
Yeah.
And as he's aged, as he's lost that step a little bit, he's been transitioned over to a playmaker. And what is good about and I'm not saying McDavid's gonna have a drastic decline, but his speed is his main thing.
Yeah, he's got hands, but his speed is.
And I'm not trying to downplay McDavid here.
No.
Am I saying Bedard's gonna be better? No. But
is it possible?
McDavid, Bedard's play style as of now, which it's subject to change. He's 17.
Yeah, he's 17 and he's still learning a lot.
It ages better than someone who uses their speed as their main attribute. And you know, McDavid, who knows? So he could have a really healthy, long career, and he could be this speed demon that he is into his late 30s.
Yeah,
you never know.
Some guys,
everyone's a little different.
It just depends.
But the play style that Bedard plays with, it only gets better. Like you said, his shot that won't go away.
Yeah,
his IQ that's only going to get better.
Yeah.
As he plays.
Exactly, he'll learn more.
I think like a great example of this. You look at Joe Pavelski recently. He had a 4-goal game a couple weeks ago. I mean, he came back from injury, and he's just 38 years old, has a 4-goal game in the playoffs. And and I heard someone make the point, like, you know, he hasn't lost his step because he never had that step. And that wasn't a dig at him. It's just he was never a speed demon burner skater.
He was never known for speed.
He's the tip-in guy. He's in front of the net. He knows where to be. He knows when to be there.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that kind of game just kind of only gets better.
That's kind of why, like, I mean, obviously for people who don't watch hockey, who are, you know, listening to this or watching it or whatever it may be, a similar comparison for, like, for example, a sport, I guess, that more people would watch, basketball or baseball or something like that, would be a guy who, for basketball sense, I guess you could use, I mean, it's obvious example is like a LeBron James or something like that. He's never been the fastest guy on the court. He's never been the absolute most strongest guy on the court, but he's always been the smartest guy on the court, and that's what makes him so much better. He has everything toned in. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so I think for him, for Connor Bedard especially, you know, him having a decent amount of speed. He's not slow by any means, but there's obviously players that are faster. I think that'll set him apart and obviously give him more of a way to work through like longevity and stuff. Being able to know where to be and having IQ. I mean, it helps a lot.
Because that's generally almost every player, their speed, they lose that
declines.
first.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. You get mid-30s, you start skating a little slower.
Yeah,
you know?
well, it's not, and it may be, you know, you might have the same power in the legs. It's just you don't have the stamina that you did to buzz past dudes.
These young guys are like so quick on their feet.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, you're just not as agile as you were, or not as fast as you were. But
and you know, you gain weight.
Yeah, you get like Phil Kessel. Like Phil Kessel.
I mean, and there's players like you know, another example, obviously, great example of this is Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just. Him and Crosby both. You know, you look at these players who are just seem to be like ageless at times.
Yeah, it's like they don't decrease in skill and like speed.
I mean, I think McDavid's going to end up being better than both of them. To be honest,
I think it's possible. It's very highly possible.
We might see him. You know, I think he has the ability to adapt. I think if and when he starts to slow down speed wise, he has the IQ too. It's not like he's just burning people and that's it. He's only making plays.
Yeah, like he's making good moves.
Because he makes highlight reel moves with his hands. Exactly. A part of his speed being so good is being able to make that move at top speed.
I think the thing that McDavid has that I've noticed is he's very good at. Obviously, we've mentioned a bunch of times already. He's got the speed, but he knows how to change speed, like where to change speed, when to change speed.
Yeah.
So he's able to fit through, like you said. He's able to make plays, slide through creases that people might not be able to get through because he has that offensive awareness of where things are and kind of an IQ thing.
It's like if you're a receiver, and if you're a football receiver, you know, you could be fucking so fast, dash a straight route line every time, and you know you'll that might work.
You're gonna a decent amount of plays,
but you know what happens when you're lining up that guy who's just as fast as you.
Yeah,
you know, now you're both sprinting, and if he can keep up with you, that's fine.
Yeah.
What sets apart a good receiver is knowing, like, you know, now I stop, now I I slow down a little bit, and then put on the jets again. Now this guy completely stops, and I'm fucking gone. You know.
Yeah. There's I can't remember who it was, but I remember watching a video, and it was an NFL receiver. He was talking about based on my first step. He was like, based on my first step. I have at least three different, you know, outcomes that I can think that you're going to go with. And based on how I see your first step, I know which of those three or two that I can for sure get away with and which one won't work just by how your first step is. Mm-hmm. He was like, he's like, most people don't pay attention to it, but like, you know, it's more or less not just you playing and trying to outrun the guy. It's also you trying to outbrain the guy because football. And this might stir the pot a little bit, but football, as far as sports goes, is not a. I'm not saying it doesn't take skill, but compared to a lot of other sports, it doesn't take as much skill because
It's less finesse to
the main
it,
thing about football is being physically better than the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just physically stronger or more in tune with yourself than someone else is, and on a football field, you have a chance of being better than them. Yeah. And that's not to say that it doesn't take skill. It does. We're not saying that in any way.
I mean, they're the ones doing like I think it's on their own thing. Big thing for football players is weight training and stuff. You know, and agility training and speed. They're more working like they're training more their attributes more than the plays, at least from a lot of what I've seen like through high school and shit. Like maybe not more, but at least half of their training is just lifting, just straight up lifting.
Yeah, they are
and sprints.
Yeah,
like
a lot
stuff
of
like that. You know, they're doing that as much as training skills. Whereas something like hockey, they do lift. They obviously all the major pro sports they're lifting, but in hockey they're doing a lot of skills. I just saw today on Instagram. Passing
on Instagram today. I just saw a clip of Minnesota's hockey team, their college team, doing like stick ladders. They had like 4 sticks laid out, just doing their first few steps and then learning how to turn and get down the ice faster off of a dead stick. I saw another
drill. I think it might have been the same team, but they were doing like that drill where you're skating as fast as you can in a direction, and every time the coach blows the whistle, you got to change directions. So, you know, sometimes it'll be like a few seconds, sometimes you're like, bam, bam, and you got to, dude, that burns the shit out of your legs, stopping and going screaming like that. But that's how you get good at that edge, you know. Yeah. Hockey's a game of transitions, and every time it goes the other direction, you got to be ready to change with the puck, you know?
Yeah. That's one of those.
Every Pee-wee level coach will tell you, don't make those big loops because it's easier on your legs.
It might seem like, oh, it's a half a second. That's not half a second is the
this guy's already by you now. You're making a big loop, and now it transitions the other way, and you're halfway through this loop. Now you turn.
Yeah, you're out of the play,
and you're like,
shit.
By
that time your line's over. Yeah, get off the ice, buddy.
Or you're on your ass. Yeah, you know?
and especially in today's game, what you mentioned, a lot of guys are so fast. You don't have that. Like maybe when Crosby and Kane and all those guys were first coming into the league, maybe you had that time to do a wide turn. Now, hell no. These guys are way too fast.
It's just you got to practice those skills, and a lot of it goes into all these different sports.
Yeah,
I want to get in this real quick before we forget.
Go ahead.
A lot of people graduating coming up, including my sister this week.
Even already graduated.
Yeah,
so if you already graduated,
congratulations to everyone watching who's graduating high school,
college, W grads, you made it.
Be.
If you're in high school, 4 more years, baby. Woo! If you're in college, if you're in your bachelor's, 4 more years if you're going to your master's, but or not.
Or if you're done, get ready to work your ass off for the next
Welcome
35
to the real world.
years, bud. Welcome to the real world.
But shout out to all the grads, for real.
Happy summer to everyone.
Yeah. Or for people who are out of school, welcome to another day in the world.
For me, for being a tradesman. Yeah. All my tradesmen out there.
Welcome back to hell.
Hope you have a good day at work tomorrow.
Shout out to you guys for.
Sure hope I do.
Yeah, shout out to all the guys who are in trades, because those are guys who don't get enough love. Obviously, in Vegas, we saw they give them a lot of love out there. So shout out to Vegas for giving their trades guys a lot of love. But what I was gonna say, going into our first thing, I don't know if you're familiar. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's been around for a while, but most people, I would hope, who are watching the podcast are familiar with the company Vice. They've been around
they're on like Snapchat
multimedia company. They've been around for, God knows, probably since the beginning of YouTube, and maybe even a little bit, slightly less than that. But they filed for bankruptcy. They're throwing in the towel on it at this point.
They were part of the reason I stopped watching those Snapchat news things, man.
Yeah,
they were just posting shit on there. Yeah. Total clickbait, and even the clickbait stuff was just like shit content. So that's, we always talk about selling out.
Yeah.
And
that's beyond selling.
You sell out, and you might get a little quick clout here and do your thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, now you built your audience on this quick little, very snap of the fingers industry, and now a lot of people, we see it all the time on TikTok, especially. They're trying to ride this wave. Someone comes up with a trend and they make 1,000 videos on it, and then people are like, okay, it's not funny anymore, and then they fall off because they don't have anything else.
The thing about Vice that's so odd, though, is I feel like they used to cover everything. Like they had They had like their little like mini shows that they did. They had so many different avenues of media.
I mean, I don't know what like in depth what they did, but I mean the front page thing, that's what keeps you going in social media. And when I was seeing it was just total sellout stuff, and hey, they lost my attention, and probably a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah, I think the issue with them is like you said, they wrote it a little too hard. They didn't really have, like obviously for us, we're still covering media, which isn't to say anything different, but we are in a spot where it's like we're covering the not just the trends. We're covering like shit that anything that comes up enough for us to be able to want to talk about.
I think we're interested in
as well as not only that, but as well as what people we're associated with or friends with or whatever it may be are interested in with. And then obviously in the future when we have guests on here, we'll be able to talk to them about stuff that they're into and stuff like that and be able to. So I think the thing with Vice is they just kind of tried to stay on top of the trends versus like media as a whole. But let me look up here. What exactly they
just look at the filing.
Yeah, it's right there. Let's see exactly what the hell happened here. We need to get a mouse pad in here too.
One's worth $5.7 billion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were
that's a Donald Trump billion with a B.
Like, it's so crazy because like 5.7 billion to essentially zero now is fucking crazy.
Literally to zero.
Vice media popular group
Chapter
for websites
11 bankruptcy.
Vice and Motherboard filed bankruptcy on Monday. The engineers Monday to engineer its site. I guess they just had loans and shit they couldn't pay back. Like they had investors that they couldn't pay off. That's what it sounds like. It's saying
a lot
to engineer its sales to a group of
leaving.
lenders.
They jumped ship.
Yeah, it's a lot of investors jumping ship. So apparently they were on the boat with you, so like saying they're just doing too much trendy shit. And they're like, let's get the fuck out of here before this gets bad. But yeah, so like we just mentioned, 5.7 billion to zero is nuts. Like,
yeah, that's a crazy fall off, man. Imagine being the owner, bro. Imagine being like,
oh, you got to be sick. Waking up, like you wake up to like 4 messages from your main investors, like, yeah, we're out. Like,
yeah.
Like that meme of that, like I think it's a dog or
at that point I'd cut my losses and flee to like Jamaica or something.
At that point I'm like yeah, like that's like it reminds me of that the meme of that like dog or like monkey or somewhere. He's like, yeah. Like you wake up in the morning,
the dog,
just like
the side
eye whatever thing. Yeah, he's like oh shit, it's going down.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah,
that's crazy,
to lose your entire company, especially as the CEO or whoever higher ups in the company, you got to be like, what did I do wrong? Like, but at the same time, it's like you should have known.
It's so crazy how that even happens. Like the logistics behind going bankrupt from 5.7 billion,
especially for a multimedia company that's like covering news events. Like,
yeah, that's like
there's always news.
A monumental downfall financially. Like,
yeah.
To think that that's even possible, like.
That's like we wake up tomorrow and Apple's out of business. Like, ow. Because, like we've said it a couple times now, they covered current events and trending stuff. What did you do? Like,
I mean, I think another big mistake they made is there wasn't really a face behind Vice.
No, not at all. It was like a bunch of random.
Yeah, and there was a lot of text stuff, which can be sustainable today.
Yeah,
but. You look at like Barstool, you think Dave Portnoy,
and a couple other guys who are on the podcast.
They have every show. Like you think of like, honestly, I don't even know his name, but when I used to watch those Snapchat things, which is where Vice,
that one chubbier guy with
was
the
really,
beard.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name. I can't remember.
All the people on
shout out to him though. He's the
guy who did that. Like they had their segments and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is the guy that does that segment on the Barstool page.
Yeah. They do a lot of bear stuff. The one guy. That's why I always remember.
They made their brand based around people.
Yeah, and it worked. It works.
It's and it benefits. And the thing that's good is that benefits the company and the person because the person gets their own recognition, which is why a lot of times people go to Barstool for a couple of years and then leave and go do their own thing. Portnoy has said that himself that this is his business model.
He uses that as a stepping stone essentially.
He signs them to a 2-year contract.
Yeah, Portnoy hit us up by the way.
They very quickly outgrow that contract.
Yeah,
and then they can go. Build on their own platform, choose to stay.
So, sponsor the podcast. Help us out here.
For real.
We'll give you some views.
he gets 2 years worth of
content,
very cheap, good content because he
not
hires
only-
talented people.
and not only that, it's not like he's one of those sticklers who's like, oh, you can't leave once you're here. He wants you to be
Yeah.
able to go on to the
He's
next
like,
thing.
we gave you the stepping stone, you could stay with us and try and help us build our thing. You can go build your own thing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and
which I respect.
and because he has a nose for finding these creators.
Yeah,
and
a very good one too. Because every time I
mean,
see someone new,
it's a
always
good
hit.
business model. It benefits a lot of people, and I think it's good for contracts are an iffy thing.
Yeah,
And from what I've seen, the way he handles it, I think it's very creator friendly.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's a short term. It gives people room to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not locking someone into a 10-year media contract with them. But it's sustainable, and I just think it's pretty smart on his part, to be honest.
we get a lot of good shows out of it, to be fair.
Yeah, we do. And then they go and they leave Barstool, and we have how many shows out there right now are just a product of, I wouldn't say product because they have their own talent, but are put on this platform from Barstool.
A lot. I've seen, like I said, I mentioned the guys who do all the Chicago sports ones. There's a couple podcasts they have with a couple girls on there that they do. Dude, they have so many. It's almost like TMZ at this point.
Spittin' Chicklets is
tell me not. It's almost like TMZ.
Spittin' Chicklets is a Barstool Sports, or as he says, a Barstool Sports because they're from Boston.
Yeah. Honestly, I want to almost say it's like a fair comparison. Almost consider it like TMZ at this point with how many different people they have in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, but aside from TMZ, obviously they have all their shows and shit, which is what they're doing so well.
They're like a more younger audience version of TMZ.
Yeah.
TMZ still does younger audience shit, but I feel like they also hit the celebrities that fucking 30, 40.
I mean, they're at a point where they're more of paparazzi than they are of. I think a better comparison for what TMZ would be with that is that what's his name, Hollywood Fix. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that guy.
I mean, TMZ will cover Bieber and Taylor Swift and shit like that, and if we ask either one of our parents, they'll know exactly who both of those people are. And they'll know a lot about them, quite a bit.
Yeah, of course.
But if you look at something like Barstool, if we ask our parents who Bryce Hall is, they're gonna look at us like, "Who the fuck is that?
Who the fuck is that guy?"
And that's not saying he's not popular. It's just they're hitting the younger audience. It's kind of
they've tapped into that.
They are very similar to TMZ in that way, where they cover so many topics and they have people
for that
who you can kind of put a face to it.
Yeah, not only that, but all the people that they try to rotate in are also people in that kind of demographic of who's into that stuff. And it's never some random.
Well,
old
you've got
dude.
Portnoy with fucking Josh Richards now doing their
what I
podcast.
even Portnoy's just solo stuff where he's doing the pizza ratings and stuff like that. That's stuff that you can relate to. It's still, even anybody of any age group knows what a pizza. I mean, unless you're an infant, knows what a pizza tastes like. Everybody wants to try the best pizza.
He's a marketing genius.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't just stumble into this. He built this thing from the ground up, man.
For years,
he was handing out newspapers.
Yeah.
Barstool Sports was a newspaper, and he was
Dookie brand
handing
newspaper.
it out on the train, and
it worked. He was one of the annoying guys in the subway. They're like, "Fuck you, bro! I don't want your shitty ass newspaper."
Yeah, he's one of the guys where I'm just trying to get home, man.
Yeah.
Someone's trying to sell me something.
Speaking of selling stuff, that's a good segue into the European Union approving Microsoft's acquisition of Activision. So that was confirmed.
I think we talked about last episode with Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't understand that move.
This doesn't make any sense now.
I think there's a lot of people at Xbox right now that are not on the same page because that is a drastically different move from what they were kind of saying last time. And that guy who was saying that they were kind of throwing the towel.
To be fair though, them acquiring Activision and Call of Duty isn't really a saver. No matter what. Call of Duty is not a game that's going to
No. And I think it's kind of dying.
Yeah. Oh, kind of is understatement. It very much is.
I have no intention on buying the next one.
And speaking of the next one, it's going to be Call of Duty. It's going to be Modern Warfare 3, which is again stupid as hell.
Again, like we were just saying on this episode, riding a wave that's ending. Get on the next wave, dude. I know. I mean, God willing, somebody from Activision sees this. I'm telling you right now. Everybody and their mother would be happy with you just fully remastering
the original peak of Call of Duty. If you took the original peak of Call of Duty, don't change anything. Don't add no microtransactions. Bring it all the way back.
And
make it.
You could do that, but
Yeah.
but do that and then move on to something else.
Yeah.
You know,
But I'm saying
don't
like
do that for 3 years.
no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even be mad if they like literally made like you could just call it Call of Duty. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Take everything from the peak of Call of Duty from what do you want? We'll say.
Oh, you mean like
World at
COD
War?
Online?
Yeah, from World
That
at
would be
War.
awesome. Yeah.
From World at War to what do you want? Well, Black Ops 3 at the most. At the latest, Black Ops 3. Smash it into one game, throw a season pass in, and add a couple things
Make
here
COD
and there.
Mobile, but an actual game.
Thank you.
Literally.
Yes.
And
There's a
I
literally.
thought what you meant was just a straight up remaster. And I think
no.
I wouldn't complain with like, people, everyone says remaster Black Ops 2.
Nobody would be mad with that.
I wouldn't be mad at that, but I think people aren't realizing that when it's going to be awesome for a little bit, but it's going to be like, okay, we already played through the whole cycle of this game,
Yeah.
There's something about getting something fresh, and this is what people's gripe with Fortnite is. People always, I don't like this, but they keep it fresh.
Yeah. I think, well, that's the thing, though, is they can always do, if they were to do something like that, they can always try to do, like, cool, like, season events or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
As long
you
as
have
they're
to add
updating
something.
it. Yeah.
You can't just straight up remaster a game from 10 years ago with new graphics.
No. I think if they were to do, like I said, like a COD Online thing and just keep updating that
would be awesome.
Everybody just make it work like the old Call of Duties. We don't need G-sliding. We don't need just put in like everything. We don't need all these crazy mechanics. We don't need operators.
Fortnite has a mode for building and one for non-building.
That's
Make one with exo mode. Make one with
exactly with regular boots on the ground.
They have the player base for it.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So we don't need another battle royale. That should just throw that shit out the window. We don't need Warzone anymore.
I think Call of Duty's got the classic problem. If you're out surfing, right? This is how any media, any games, movies.
Yeah.
If you're out surfing, you could catch this huge fucking wave, right? Now
crash.
you've got this. You're on this. You're like, holy shit, this is great.
This is great. Let's go.
Now at some point you got to get off that wave and then swim back out, look for the next one, and you might find the next one in 5 minutes. It might take you an hour to find the next one.
And in Call of Duty's case,
if you stay on that wave and ride into the fucking beach, you're gonna crash into the beach.
Get a mouthful of sand.
So it's the same thing with media. You gotta keep moving on to the next thing.
You gotta keep up with it. And
not saying that you can't try and ride something out for a little bit, but Call of Duty, they're kind of doing it too much.
I think what people love about the old CODs is there wasn't the overtly clear they're trying to do more than they can. Warzone, like I said, I think I said last episode, but Warzone, as much as it during COVID and the original Warzone, how good it was for that time, we did not need another Call of Duty Warzone
it
iteration.
Should have just been like Fortnite.
It should have just been updated.
Just update it.
Obviously, they updated it, but we don't need the old Warzone anymore. There should not be two versions.
Yeah.
It should just be one thing. It doesn't have to be heavily based on the newest game that's out. When Warzone 1 was out, when what was it, Cold War came out, all the other guns became dog shit.
Yeah.
They dropped the damage, they dropped all the shit in Warzone, but the only guns that worked were the ones in the new game. And to even get those leveled up enough to have them where you had your attachments and shit, you have to buy the new game.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to buy the new game.
It's not like they only rolled Warzone for 3 years, 2-3 years.
Warzone 1 was 3 years up until
2019 until last year.
Yeah, up until last year when they dropped the new game.
And Warzone 2, to me, it didn't make sense from the get go.
Yeah, DMZ is cool. That's a good addition.
Yeah,
that's the update. That's what we need. That's the update.
But they didn't drastically change the gameplay to the point where you need look at Fortnite. Fortnite's been it's been 6, almost 7 years, and they're still updating.
Yeah, the biggest change Fortnite made was the no build mode. That's their biggest. That's their biggest change they've ever.
But
made.
they add new gameplay mechanics without needing. You don't need. It's the only
without changing the ground.
The only reason why Fortnite would need to make Fortnite 2 at some point is if they're rebuilding an entirely different engine with it.
CS has been the exact same game for quite literally 10 years. Up until a month ago,
and they're just putting out a beta.
They're finally putting out a beta for not a new mechanics, maybe a few new mechanics, but not anything changing their core. The core of the game is staying the exact same. The only difference is they're changing how the smoke grenades work. They're changing how some of the graphics look, and they're reskinning some of the maps. They're not changing the maps. They're literally just reskinning them so that they work better. with the new graphics. That's it.
That's how you do it, you know?
And people,
you just
CS is still one of the most played games in the world.
Yeah, literally.
It's 10 years old.
It's like the biggest competitive game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
still.
outside of what, League of Legends, maybe?
I think it might be. I think it's still bigger than League.
It's possible.
Comp?
I mean, I have no clue. I don't follow either of those close enough to know like the exact numbers, but
Look it up on there real quick.
let's check.
Just look up biggest competitive video games.
CS is second behind Dota 2.
Behind Dota 2.
That's
I
crazy.
didn't know anyone still plays Dota.
I didn't even. Yeah, there was one kid at Maine West who got like a bunch of.
That was
prize
in
money after
2022 though. I thought I saw something more recent that CS was bigger now.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, here we go.
PUBG, no way.
Yeah,
CS. Look at
CS
CS's
is still
prize
top 5.
pool though.
CS's prize pool is crazy though.
Yeah, 6.2 mil.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, if they were to take, and like I mentioned this, it's been a couple years since they've been developing it, but that SM2 game, remember I told you about? That they're like, it's a bunch of guys on Discord making it. They're literally doing exactly what I'm talking about. Taking all these CODs from the prime of
Mobile is 5. Oh my god. It's higher than real PUBG by like a landslide.
Yeah. They're taking like all the prime of Call of Duty and putting it into one and making it essentially like a plutonium or whatever type of thing.
Yeah.
But that type of thing is something that we've all wanted. Like everybody for years has been saying, just remaster the old games. We don't even care about a new game anymore at that point, because if you make a COD online where you can update it every year, you don't need to slave away a team of people for what, essentially 8 to 10 months. Like,
I mean, they are doing 2 years every 2 years now, aren't they?
Yeah, they said they might scrap that. They said they're
that's
debating.
lame if
That's
they
what I'm
scrap
saying.
that.
Like they should just honestly.
You can't really develop a new game in a year. I understand that they have different teams.
Yeah.
But
I think honestly, what they should just do is have all 3 companies that all 3 of those teams work on one big game. Have each individual one make their own things. Like let Treyarch work on the zombies. Cool, fine. Let Infinity Ward do the multiplayer, and then let Sledgehammer do campaign or whatever the fuck they do, you know?
Yeah.
Just let them each team work on one individual piece and constantly update that one entity. We don't need Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 4, Black Ops 4 remaster, Black Ops 2 remaster. Like, at this point, Call of Duty's at that time in its lifespan where it's like, we're getting, like we mentioned last episode, we're expecting it to be dog shit.
Yeah.
So just give us the old shit that we all want. Give us the old shit we're all asking you for anyway.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I feel like they could do that. They could have a live service game that goes on, and then throw a remaster in between.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Just to keep something fresh. Maybe don't make it $70. You know.
Yeah. If they made it like $50 and threw a season pass, I think everybody would be okay with that.
Yeah, and then still have your live service games. Still have your Modern Warfare. Not exactly, but like a game that's being updated.
Yeah.
With completely new stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
As compared to a remaster that's
at this
not
point,
new.
Yeah.
It's just
at this point,
refreshed.
you guys rotate so many modes in Warzone and all that shit. It's getting played out. Like everybody expects the same. Oh, here comes Plunder for 3 days, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes Resurgence for 4 days. It's gone.
And I don't get the whole taking out Shoot House and Shipment constantly. Like
just leave them in.
That was the only thing keeping me playing MW2. And I know they brought it back, but
they also have
once I got off that wave, I was off that wave. Yeah. You know.
I think
I didn't crash into the beach with the game.
Hell no, jumped off that one. I played the rank play. That was kind of fun. But yeah. I mean, I've been getting pretty familiar with guns, similar to how John Morant's been getting pretty similar to guns again. Getting familiar with guns again. Yeah, he's an idiot, professional idiot.
I think I was telling Rajan this earlier. I'm talking to the audience now. We never really do that, so I kind of said that, and then I'm like, that threw me off when I said that. But I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
I think it seems like he's doing a social experiment.
Yeah.
Like
he's Kanye.
It seems like he's like, okay, I am so talented. I'm such a good young talent. This league needs me so much for how much money I could bring in.
Yeah.
Let's see what I can get away with.
What can I do?
How much can I do? It's like Ezra Miller too. It's like, how DC needs me for this movie. It's kind of the same thing. Like,
right, let's go slap
he
some
knows
people.
how much leverage he has. And look, Ezra Miller still got the movie.
He got a solo movie. Not just
so
a movie,
John Morant's
solo.
like, shit, if he can do it, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand it's hard to take a player like that away from a franchise. It's bad for the fans. It's bad for the league. It's bad money wise.
It's bad across the board for anybody.
But you
involved,
can't. You need to set a precedent. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't let people. You can't let players get away with this shit.
I think the big thing for John Morant, what pisses me off so much, is the NBA and Nike were so harsh against Kyrie Irving when he made a Twitter post about the movie that had like a piece of what is it? Anti-Semitic, whatever was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even post it as like, oh, he's promoting it. He posted it as like hey, this movie educated me. I thought I'll share it because maybe somebody else can find something in here that educates them.
Yeah. Meanwhile, John
Morant's endangering the public.
Actual borderline violent crimes.
And he's all right. 8 game suspension. $600,000 fine. It's not like he makes $300 million.
You have to understand, as a professional athlete, there's kids watching you.
Exactly.
At all times, there are kids watching you. Everything you post.
Not only is he like an NBA player.
I'm not saying you have to be a kid-friendly creator.
No, not at all.
But I mean, they're gonna see you holding the fucking swinging the gun around.
It's not even that. It's like, not only are you representing, the NBA, you're representing your team. You're also, and whether you want to be that person or not, a role model for a player. As a player, you're a role model for these kids who are looking up to you like, damn, I want to be in the NBA one day. But now they're going to be like, damn, guys in the NBA have guns. I need one now, too. Like, he's playing
it sounds crazy, but that's how kids are now.
It's like he's playing fucking RP. Like,
you got these iPad kids, they want to copy whatever their creators do. Their favorite creator, they want to copy every move they're doing.
Yeah, it would be, I guess it's still a bad thing, a bad image to put out there. But I think if he wasn't as popular, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. Still bad. But he is the face of the franchise, damn near the face of the future NBA. So whether you like it or not, people are like, some people on Twitter and Instagram in the comments are like, oh, he's young, he's young and he's got money now. So
who does he play for?
Memphis. They're like, oh, he's young, he's learning how to act. No, he's 20 something years old. Let me see, how old is he now?
Listen, someone like that, especially. No one should be acting like that. A professional athlete, there's so many people around you telling you to not do things like that.
Yeah.
That there is absolutely no excuse for something like that to happen.
People are like, oh, it's the off season. He's not around them. It doesn't matter. You were already warned months ago. It's not like, oh, this was years ago they warned you and you forgot. A couple months ago you got in trouble for this. You got a suspension and fines. What are you doing?
and it's a shame to see such a talent, dude.
Yeah, he's good. He's a really good basketball player. He's just an idiot. And the thing is, I think this is the problem. I think we've talked about this before with other situations, but I think the people you surround yourself with as not just a athlete, but a business person, as anybody, and this goes for anyone. The people you hang around with essentially are a representation of who you choose to be around. So if you're sitting here and your homie's like, yeah, we're in the car, like, cool, yeah, you can record yourself in the car or whatever. But he should know, why are you recording me? You see the guns in the car. What are you doing? This would not happen if you didn't pull up Instagram Live.
No one's going to look at your friend and say you're exactly like them, but they are
they're an extension
some way, an extension of yourself. Mm-hmm. Other people see you around them, and they associate you with that person when they see you.
Yeah.
When they see that person, they think of you. Oh, that's Joey's friend.
Yeah.
It's you need to surround yourself with people who you don't have to agree all the time with the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
I think some of the best friendships I have are people I back and forth with random shit about.
Yeah.
And but you need to know where they're at, where their headspace is at.
Yeah.
They need to. I think for me, this is different for everyone, but just from my experience, if I'm not like generally in the same headspace as someone else, if they don't want to be in the same place that I'm in, just in life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the same career, but like for me personally, like
they want to go forward.
I like to be around people who are driven. I like to be around people who are doing something. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying like, if my friend doesn't have a job, I'm not going to be friends with them, but like I find it more relatable to be around people who
want to do
that
shit,
kind of, who want to, exactly. Who just generally want to do something with their life.
I think, like you said, I think being around people who, and it could be whether they want to do shit. This goes different for everybody, and there could be multiple different reasons why people hang out with whoever they hang out with. Some people might need someone in their life who, knows how to keep people, keep people's mood up. Some people might need someone around them that knows how to, look at the positives and negatives, whatever it may be, So for him, I think he's in a situation where maybe his friends or he's known these guys before, and maybe they are from a less fortunate, path of life. But you can't try to, and this is unfortunate to say, and this might even happen with, stuff that we're doing, now and, in the future. Well, granted, this goes well, right? And I saw this was like a businessman, like he was doing like one of those TED Talk things or whatever. He was like, a lot of people don't realize, and don't quote me, I'm sorry if I misquote this, but this is essentially, I'm giving you like the spark notes of it. He said, essentially, when you're going to try to get to another level of whatever it may be, business, content creation, life.
Yeah. Just any.
Sometimes, or he said a lot of times, what happens is people don't realize a high percent, possibly 90% is what he said, of those people that you were originally associated with will not be around when you get to that end goal of what you're trying to get to, because they just don't think the same way that you were thinking. So if you actually get to that, point B of wherever you were trying to get to, you might not be associated with the same people anymore. Whether that's just because
I mean, people change. Everyone changes.
And I think the thing that he was getting at is it's not only just people change, it's that
you're
going to realize, you're going to realize that they're not on the same path as you. They're not thinking the same way as you. They might not even believe what you're trying to do. They might even just might not believe in it, point blank period. So you might end up in a different scenario where they're not around, or they're just not a close acquaintance like they were before.
Yeah, it's not always conflict that leads to people growing apart. It's, just we're in a different headspace. We're going a different directions, and you kind of just lose touch. You don't relate as much, and it's not always a bad thing,
No, sometimes
everyone has their own path, and you can't try to stay on someone else's path.
Yeah, I think
you're very lucky if you have friends that you can evolve with, and you can be in parallel paths, but you are not on each other's path. You are each on your own. Even like, like you said, if we end up doing this for a long time, this ends up getting big.
Yeah.
This is going to be something that we're doing together.
Yeah.
But we're also going to be doing it different ways. We're not going to do this. We're going to have our own plan at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think the thing that works with us is that obviously, we want this to work. Both of us want it to work. We both still do our own shit. Excuse me. We both already do our own shit now. So I think that the way we started it works really well, because obviously we both, we both already are focused on our own things. But at the same time, this is where, things connect. Obviously, we hang out outside of this. Not like we just show up on random days.
We don't just record and then, all right, see ya.
Life is life. Obviously,
you typically, most of the time after we record, we're here for another 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours. It might not be the same today, but.
Yeah, because I got to be somewhere, and I think, we're here. Yeah, we sometimes we even start editing it right away for a little bit, or we just eat something or whatever. But yeah, I think like you mentioned, it's like, obviously whether this keeps us, occupied for however minute, or we start breaking. Obviously, we want the company to grow as much as it can. So we're gonna be working on shit separately. Obviously, we'll be working on stuff that obviously this will be our thing that we're doing together, but we're gonna have other people coming in, all that shit. So everything isn't gonna stay constant anywhere. So I think people don't realize that, and they try to do that. They try to force that. And obviously with the John Morant thing is like, he's realizing like some of these guys he's around, obviously he doesn't want to feel like he's just abandoning them. But at a certain point, it's not abandonment. It's you're just not in the same headspace anymore. It's kind of like that Playboy Cardi shit when he was like, I thought guys were on the same thing as me. I guess not.
and I mean, even for like his teammates,
Yeah.
His teammates probably fucking think he's a total goof right now.
Yeah.
But from an outsider who's maybe not all that informed on the situation, they might be like, "Oh, those fucking Memphis players, man.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on?
What's going on in Memphis?
Yeah.
Now it's a reflection of the team, reflection of his teammates, executives, everyone who's involved, because outsiders are looking in, they're seeing Memphis on the headlines. Memphis, the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies play. I don't know what position he is.
Point guard. He's a point guard.
Memphis Grizzlies point guard John Morant. And that's what a lot of the headlines are going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
The first thing they're going to see is that franchise, and that's
and he's the face of that franchise. So.
He's an extension of his teammates.
Yeah.
He's an extension of his
so
team.
now all those
who picked him up in the first place.
Yeah, all these other guys are there like, yo, what the even like, and that's what he said. Like an outsider could be like, what the fuck's going on in Memphis, bro? His own teammates could be like, yo, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Look at get a load of this dude. Like,
and I'm not blaming the teammates or the executives at all.
No.
I'm just saying this is what it can look like to some people who are not informed on the whole situation.
Yeah, like some people might see the podcast and be like, well, look at these fucking guys.
When you're on that big of a platform and you're doing things like this, it leads to hurting a lot of people in ways you would never imagine.
Yeah, because especially when you're that high up, it trickles down
and
a lot.
Indirectly.
Yeah. I was gonna get into this, but I don't know. We're kind of in a good spot.
I think we're good here.
I do have one
shit
thing
I've got. I could save.
Yeah, I got. That's about it. I mean, I think really all the stuff we kind of just scraped it by. I do have one thing though coming up really soon here. That's why I want to get this podcast episode out by next week. If you have, I mean, which most people do, if you have a local Wendy's, from May 26th through June 1st, they're doing 1 cent burgers, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Get your fix. Oh, yeah. I'm going to walk out of Wendy's with 2 fucking of those plastic bags they give out.
I don't know if I think there's got to be a limit.
But hey, I'm going to do the good old, go in with a hat.
Even if it's
come
just
back with some glasses.
I want a quick snack. Grab a 1 cent burger.
We'll do a tour of a bunch of Wendy's.
Maybe snag one of those. Dude, their fries are good.
Dude, you know what'd be nuts if it's all the meals, too. That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
They would lose so much money, but
the 5 cent biggie bag.
I think I mean obviously it would be kind of funny, go around one time through the drive-thru with a hat, and they come back with a suit and some glasses, and just keep going around doing laps, or do a tour of
get
Wendy's.
5 of your friends in 5 different outfits and come in different cars each time.
Or do a tour of the local Wendy's, just go to each one, and then 30 minutes pass. By that time you come back to that first one, that's somebody new at the window.
You should make a video out of that.
I'd be down. I'd be down to do that little Wendy's tour. But yeah, I think I got everything. We're about at 50 minutes as normal. Shout out to everybody who watched the last one. We're at the time of this recording, that episode's been out for 3 days, and it's at 104 views, I think. Let me check right now. Actually, let's check. Scroll on over to the YouTube here. Let's see. Go over to the
Gideon.
Let's go over to the good old YouTube here. Yeah, 104 views in 3 days. Shout out to everybody who's watching. We're almost at this point, the episodes are almost at a view per subscriber. We're at 118 subs, so shout out to the new subs as well. Joe got us some subs on Fortnite.
Shout out to Travis, my boy Travis.
Yeah, so we got some new subs, so shout out to you guys. Everybody who's coming back as usual. Thank you for being back and watching again. I'm getting the last episode on Spotify before this one comes out, so for everybody who's on Spotify, shout out to you guys for listening over there.
We got some people in Germany.
On Spotify. We got some listeners in Germany, so I don't know how to fucking say thanks for listening in German, but yeah.
Guten Tag.
Yeah, we'll give them that. Guten Tag. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, thank you for watching. If you're coming back, welcome back. If you're new, subscribe, share it. Get this out there as much as possible. We want to have as many people interacting with the content as we can, as well as getting some opinions from you guys and some views from you guys that we can use for future chats or whatever it may be. Yeah, I think that's all we got. So yeah, until the next episode.
Adios.
Peace.
Epic.